Hello everyone. Welcome to the Billabong debate. This debate competition uses the modified World Schools Debate Championship format. In this video, we will walk you through how the debate format works, speaker order and speaker roles, points of information, timing rules, and how judges score the debate. Let's get started.
The format. In this debate, two teams compete against each other. The proposition team, which supports the motion, and the opposition team, which opposes the motion. Although each team has 4 members, only 3 speakers speak in a debate. Speaker order and speaker roles. A WSDC debate follows a specific speaker order. Each speaker has a clear and specific role. The debate begins with the first speaker of the proposition. The first proposition speaker is to set up the debate by defining the motion and explaining their team's stance. The first proposition speaker must also outline their team's case, that is, all the arguments their team will be giving to support their stance, and explain how the arguments will be divided between the speakers of the team.
After the first speaker of the proposition has spoken, the next speaker is the first speaker of the opposition. The first opposition speaker's role is to respond to the proposition's definition and explain why the opposition team opposes the motion. As the first opposition speaker, they must also outline their team's case and explain how the arguments will be divided between the speakers of their own team.
After the first speakers of the two teams have set up the debate and established their stance, the debate continues to move on to the second speakers. The next speaker to speak is the second speaker of the proposition, followed by the second speaker of the opposition. The second speakers of both teams perform similar roles. They are both responsible for the following for their respective teams. They will rebut their previous speakers' arguments and introduce new supporting points for their sides respectively. Their role is to directly respond to their opposing team's arguments, point out flaws, gaps, or assumptions, and add new arguments or deeper analysis. They also have to make sure that their rebuttal is specific. During their speech, they will mention what the other team said and explain why it doesn't work.
After the second speakers have delivered their speeches, it is time for the third speakers of both the teams to present further arguments and explanations for their team's stance. Thus, the next speaker to speak is the third proposition, followed by the third opposition speaker. Just like the second speakers, they also perform similar roles for their respective teams. They respond comprehensively to their opposing team's case by addressing their core arguments as well as by addressing the main challenge to their own team's case. Although the third speakers may present a new argument, their primary role is to respond to what has gone on before in the debate. The third speaker of each team would spend more time dealing with what has been said by previous speakers.
At the end of the 6 main speeches from both of the teams, each of the teams gets to give a reply speech. In this modified version of the WSDC debate, each reply speech is 3 minutes long. The role of the reply speeches is to sum up the debate from the team's viewpoint, including a response to the other team's overall case and a summary of the speaker's own team's case. Here are some of the important things to note about reply speeches.
The reply speaker may be either the first or the second speaker of the team, but not the third. The reply speakers speak in reverse order, with the opposition replying first and the proposition replying last. Neither reply speaker may introduce a new part of the team's case. A reply speech is retrospective and therefore looks at the debate that has already happened. Thus, reply speakers should not be adding new material that expands the case, but should add new material that expands the judge's understanding of the debate and their ability to evaluate it.
Now, let's talk about points of information, or POIs. POIs are short interruptions offered by the opposing team during a speaker's speech. POIs can be offered after the first minute and before the last minute of a speech. The first and last minute are called protected time, and no POIs can be offered through them. In order to offer a POI, a debater stands up, raises one hand and says, point of information. If the speaker wishes to accept the POI, they may stop their speech and say, "Yes, please." Listen to the POI and respond to it. If the speaker does not wish to accept the POI, they may simply say, "No, thank you," and move on with their speech. Please note that while a speaker is taking a POI and responding to it, the timer does not stop. A POI cannot be longer than 15 seconds. A good POI challenges a specific point, asks a sharp question, or makes a brief counterclaim. Speakers are encouraged to take a minimum of 1 POI.
Timing rules. In this modified version of the WSDC debate, each main speech, the first, second, or third speech, lasts 5 minutes. The first minute of every main speech is protected, during which the speaker cannot be interrupted by points of information. The period between the first and the fourth minute of the speech is unprotected time, during which the speaker may accept POIs from the opposing team. The last minute is protected again and no POIs may be offered.
Judging criteria. Judges score speakers using 3 criteria. The first criterion is content, which makes up 40% of the total marks a speaker gets. It deals with what is being presented. It's based on the quality of arguments, the use of examples, logical reasoning, the rebuttal, the POIs, and the responses to POIs.
The second criterion is style, which makes up 40% of the total marks a speaker gets. It is based on how the content is presented. The clarity of speech, confidence, and the ability to describe situations through powerful illustration are part of style.
The third criterion is strategy. It makes up 20% of the total marks. It deals with why the content is said. It is based on the relevance of the content to the motion, time allocation, prioritization of the material, and consistency between arguments.
Debating in the modified WSDC format helps you think critically, speak clearly, listen actively, and present your arguments respectfully. So take a deep breath, trust your preparation, and enjoy the debate. Good luck and happy debating!